Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. We are talking about the AOS 25. We're going to talk about 2.5-inch props and the motors that are best suited for them. We're going to fly some tiny whoops because that's what we do on Whoop Wednesdays. And I don't know, is that it? What else you guys want to do? Q&A, of course. All the live streams are Q&A. I feel like the best sort of thing that I can do here is inspire you guys to ask more questions about all of FPV, but we tend to talk about micros and just kind of keep the learning and the testing and the 5-inch rigs have had the benefit of like hundreds of thousands of hours of R&D by like a huge community of people, right? Micros have not had that much of an R&D cycle, so it's up to us to really keep that going, and that's what I'm here for, you. It's one of the main reasons that I started the live stream in the first place, was to get a bunch of freaks together that like micros and share all of our information so that we can get them flying even better. So yeah, ripping moves, cool, we're good. Cheers, friends. I did get a haircut yesterday. I don't know what to say about that. It's shorter now. In the chat, Denzel the Terrible was first. Bob Bruce was next. Douglas Otwell, Nanny FPV, or Nani. Is it Nanny or Nani? I think it's Nani. CMYK FPV, Rock Crawler, We Bleed FPV is in the house. What's up, Zotek? Eric Moe, McMucus, McConnell Studios, Espander, Big Fran, C-Mac, Rob Axelson, Frank Nicholas, Denzel the Terrible. Wow. I'm not going to read the second part of the name. I'm just going to read the first part, which is pretty gnarly as well. Bent Dick is here. Rob Axelson, Beery FPV, Fun Per Volt. What's up, everybody? I'm just getting this broken Runcam Nano 3 out of the 32,000 kV rig and swapping it out with a regular old Runcam Nano 3, not the old school one. I'm very sad, very, very, very sad. One of these OG Runcam Nano 3s that I've got met its demise on Monday's live stream. I slammed into something like face first with the camera, and it appears to have either pulled the CCD off the board, or maybe a part of the lens exploded. But unfortunately, on these tiny little cameras, a lot of times there's no like adjustments, there's no focusing the lens. Everything is kind of like glued down or molded, I don't know, molded together or something. So yeah, that makes me very sad. If you've got a toothpick or a TinyWhoop laying around that you don't use a lot, if you can check, I would be forever grateful if you could check to see if it has a Runcam Nano 3 that looks like this. See how the lens is completely round on this one? This is what I'm looking for. This is what I would really love to have another one of. This is the one that dies. This is a Runcam Nano 3 that was made for a very short period of time, and the quality is a little bit better than the regular Runcam Nano 3, where the lens looks like this. Come on, Logitech. You got this. There we go. Yeah, this is the regular, like, currently produced Runcam Nano 3. And it works totally fine. I'm going to put it onto my main rig here in a second. But yeah, this is the one that you can get at the moment. The round lens one you can't get, and I would love if somebody would sell me those. I'll pay you way more than it's worth. So yeah, if you've got a rig laying around with a Runcam Nano 3 in it, do me a favor, take a quick look, see if the lens is perfectly round, and if it is, and you're willing to part with it, let me know. I will make it worth your while, I promise. So there's that. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange like this. You can do that with each other. If you want to talk directly to someone, just type @ and then their name, or just type their name and spell it right, and it'll light up an orange like that. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to support me and let these live streams continue, it's on you, man. I got no control over that. I mean, I got a little bit of control, but it's mainly on you, beautiful people. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com, and there's a million ways you can support me. The one that helps me out the most is Patreon. I don't know what's going on over there, but I took quite a bath at the beginning of the month here. So if you have a couple of extra dollars, I would love to have you on as a patron. You're going to get a ton of benefits, and it's going to be well worth the few dollars a month that it costs. To get in on the general admission tier, it's 10 cents a day. You know you got 10 cents a day to help your gangly ass buddy out. And yeah, I'll keep doing these live streams for as long as I possibly can. That's been the plan all along. Some of the benefits to joining Patreon are going to be a private YouTube playlist here with all kinds of weird stuff, Patreon-only streams, sketchy flying, I don't want to be public, half-done edits, lots of good stuff there, almost 90 different things for you to kind of fart around with there. You're going to get access to 2 different Facebook groups. You're going to get full access to the Discord channel with text channels such as the Stick and Dick End Fund, where you can rent out a box from me that has every single stick end that's currently in stock on the internet, to actually try them out to see if you like them. And I'm sure I'm missing a couple of things. I mean, the Patreon channel itself has a whole bunch of technical articles, which are pretty slick. You can support me over on Etsy by buying some stickers or some random hardware. You can work one-on-one with me. Let me help you fly better, build better, and tune better. I've been in this for almost 7 years now. Let me drop some of the 7 years of knowledge on you to really accelerate your amount of learning and knowledge that you've got, and just your general enjoyment of the hobby. Teespring, I got some fun shirts and other random apparel. If you want to support me directly, you can PayPal me. PayPal does not take a cut like YouTube and Google do when you do a super chat. Either one is fine. And then when you're buying yourself some stuff on the internet, think about your content creating friends. Someone probably has an affiliate link to the website that you're about to check out on. I've got affiliate links to WeBleed FPV, Newbie Drone FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. If you're ordering on any of those websites and you hit my affiliate link at any point before you check out, I'm going to get a small percentage of your total cart. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no reason not to do it every time you order things on the internet. In chat, the folks that have tagged me so far have had to say, Bob Bruce tagged me and said, how's it going, everyone? Nani FPV says, it lives. What's up, everyone? How you dosing? Oh, no, doing. I just saw what I wanted to see, I guess. Rockcaller says, what's good, gangly gang? Hey, Ciotti. Rob Oxyson says, hola. Bent Dick says, whoop Wednesday. Hello, CiottiFPV and gang. Rob Oxyson says, you had your ears lowered. I did indeed. They are lower. Denzel the Terrible says, the hair is so high. You look like Kid or Play. What's Kid or Play? Beery says, hey, Rob Oxyson says, Pyro Drone got the 1804 3500 kV 3mm inner shafts in. Yeah? Really? Wow, I just assumed that they were gone forever. That's rad. What Rob is talking about is arguably the best micromotor ever made, which is the X-Nova 1804 3500 kV. So let's come in here to 18. T-Motor has recently made an 1804, which is great, and they made it in 3400 kV. I do not know if it has a 3mm motor shaft. It doesn't look like it does from this picture here. This looks like a 2mm motor shaft. If it's only a 2mm motor shaft, I have absolutely no interest in it, which is a shame because T-Motor makes great motors. If it is a 3mm motor shaft, then I am interested in it, especially because they also make an M5 nut version of it, which is cool. But yeah, I'm going to have to, next time I do an order from a website that sells this, I'm going to order one, and I'll measure the motor shaft down below the bell to see if it's 2mm or if it's 3mm. Sometimes these little sketches here will have the diameter of the motor shaft, but in this case it does not, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe this is I don't know. I'm pretty convinced that this is not 3mm here. I know what the bottoms of these motors look like, and I can just kind of tell from the ratio of like the size of the 12x12 mounting holes to the thickness of this that, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not 3mm, which is sad because the most common failure point on micromotors is that the motor shaft bends right below the hub. And then the motor bell wobbles and it's just done. Like, the motor is just trash at that point. Technically speaking, you can get these C-clips off and you can replace the bell, but nobody sells just the bells as replacements for these motors, for micromotors. So, you know, you're going to have to buy an entire replacement motor, and then you might as well just put that on. You should keep the good stator, and just like mark that the bell of the motor is actually, what you should do is pop the C-clip, save that, put that in a bag, throw the bell away so that you don't get confused, and then just keep the stator. Keep the stator with the C-clip and any washers that are there. And then and then you're going to buy a replacement motor. You're going to put that on your rig. And then at some point, if you ever ruin a stator, then you've got a replacement stator waiting for you. But that's pretty rare. Typically, it's the bells that you ruin. When they put a 3mm motor shaft in, it's strong enough that they just don't bend. I have had a set of Xnova 1804s which do have a 3mm motor shaft for probably about 2 years now, and I've put hundreds of batteries through them and crashed the shit out of them, and they spin just as flat and level as they did on day one. It's really amazing. With micros that are less than 350 grams, a 3mm motor shaft is just indestructible, and that's amazing. Even 5-inch rigs can't do that. When 5-inch rigs went from 3 to 4mm motor shafts, the motors got infinitely more reliable, but the motor shaft is still the weak point on a 5-inch motor. So technically speaking, I would love it for them to go up to a 5mm shaft, but it's not as easy as that. But yeah, for these micro motors, in my opinion, if they're bigger than, I'm gonna say bigger than 1404, although I would love to have it on 1404, but I don't think it'll work with a 14mm wide stator. Basically, at a 15mm wide stator, it should be a 3mm motor shaft, because I know they can do it, because someone has done it before. RC and Power and Emax. Or no, RC and Power did it on a 15, Emax did it on a 16. But yeah, the fact that RC and Power did it with their 1506 means that it is possible. Basically, the stator the stator poles have to be of a certain length, and so that cuts down on the amount of space in the middle of the spacer that you've got to put your bearing and your motor shaft. You also have to be careful, because you can just keep increasing the inner diameter without increasing the outer diameter of the bearing, because the outer diameter of the bearing is dependent upon the stator poles. And as you increase the inner diameter of the bearing, the balls in the bearing get smaller and less, and the bearing becomes less durable. So yeah, if you were to say oh, I want a 3mm motor shaft on a 13mm wide stator, that would probably be a bad idea, because the bearing would become, we have to balance the strength of the motor shaft versus the strength of that top bearing that takes a lot of abuse. And yeah, the Xnova 1804 has certainly found the right balance there, because both the bearings and the motor shaft are just seemingly indestructible, and that's pretty cool. What else is going on in chat here? Oh, but so hold on, I got sidetracked. So yeah, that's the T-motor. We started talking about the T-motor 1804, but the star of the show is the Xnova 1804, and yeah, look at that. Well, hold on, let's see. Yep. Well, nope. Still says coming soon. When I switch it over to 3500 kV, maybe they have the 4-pack in. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. So they've got the 4-packs in. They've got the 4-packs of 3500 kV 1804s in. That's awesome. Good price too. $60 for a 4-pack of these motors is a really good deal. So yeah, happy days are here at last. I'm probably going to snag a 4-pack of these next time I do a Pyro Drone order, just so I have some extras, because I got all worried when they went out of stock that I wouldn't be able to get them anymore. Look at Pyro Drone with broken image links. Where are we at in chat here? Fire Mike FPV says, is the VTX module in the newest Bind and Fly Mobula6 a 900 megahertz? I'd like to use a 5.8 module for my DJI goggles. They sell the Mobula6 ELRS in 2.4 gigahertz standard and 900 megahertz. It's a lot of times when you go to buy a Mobula6 ELRS, you'll type it into Google or whatever. and you'll finally find it in stock. They're commonly out of stock, and you'll be like, oh great, and you'll go to the website real quick to buy it before anybody else does, and then you'll hopefully notice that the one that's in stock is the 900 megahertz ELRS one. Not many people are using ELRS 900, so yeah, it's not as hot of a seller. So yeah, you should be able to find the 900 version a lot easier than the 2.4 version. 2.4 version is very hard to find in stock. Rob Oxison says, the sooner I get me that HD0 stuff, I will send you my OG Runcam Nano 3, the one with the round lens. Really? Oh my god, it's going on my baby tooth, Rob Oxison says. Deal. I've got it sitting right back here. It's like ready to go. It's just been a crazy week. I thought it was ready to go. I thought I had it sitting right back there. Where did I put it? Oh god. I put it somewhere that it would be obvious and that I would see it. And that place is right over here. Sometimes it works when I do that. Hey! I got it. That's right. I put it in this box because it's got parts for a build. All right, I'm going to put it right here. Awesome. Very cool. If anybody else has one, I would love to have a backup. So if you have a round lens Runcam Nano, just let me know, and I will make you a deal that you can't refuse. Michael D says, when replacing 802 30,000 kV motors with 1002 23,500 kV motors, what settings should I change in Betaflight? She flies, but I notice a flutter sometimes. Okay, so the easy button is the master multiplier. Just lower the master multiplier by like 2 notches. If you're getting like an oscillating, fluttering sound every once in a while, basically what that means is like you're on the limit of the tune. You could totally leave it alone. They're usually fine like that. But if you want to clean that up, yeah, the easy button is just to pull the master multiplier down. If you want to dig in a little deeper, because the master multiplier is going to drop everything, PID, Dmax, and feed forward. Technically speaking, your problem is either P or D gain related. So if you want to dig a little deeper, instead of pulling the master multiplier down, you can just try pulling down. I would try to pull the P gain slider down first, a couple of notches. If that doesn't work, maybe boost it back up to where it was, and then pull the D gain slider down a couple notches. It's probably D gain related, to be honest, but if you can solve that issue with a little bit less P gain, you're gonna have better flight characteristics than taking away D gain, if that makes sense. D gain is really what like locks a quad in, and it helps with a lot of different. It helps with more things than P gain does. Like if you can have a little bit more D gain versus a little bit more P gain, D gain is typically going to get you a better flight experience. So yeah, there you go. Frank Nicholas dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Mr. Huggy says, I fly those 1604 3400 motors. Which ones? Hey, Rob Axelson says the T-Motor 1804s are not 3 millimeters. I knew it. I could just tell from that picture. So yeah, I have absolutely no interest in an 1804 that does not have a 3 millimeter motor shaft. It's just, yeah, there's just no reason for it. Sorry, T-Motor, but like you did that wrong. That was a bad choice. Especially like 1804, that's a motor that's starting to get really heavy. And as the motors get heavier, they're going to get just exponentially less durable. So yeah, that's a shame. Mr. Huggy, are you saying that you've got the T-Motor 1604 motors? If so, how are they? I'm really interested in those. Mr. Huggy says, T-Motor says the 1804 is a 2 millimeter motor shaft. There it is. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. Athix says, talking about bearings, remember the ceramic ones? Yeah. My first run-in with ceramic bearings was in the world of longboarding, actually. And yeah, I learned there that like they're super interesting and like they can provide a little bit less rolling resistance, but they're very, very, very fragile. And so when I was then in FPV and I saw that Lumineer was doing some ceramic bearings with Schizo's motor, I messaged him right away and said, like, yo, terrible idea. Like, they're just super fragile and super brittle. That's not going to work well in our setting. But it was kind of too late. They'd already been made. So yeah. Luckily, that didn't become like a hype trainy thing like most other things in this hobby, and end up with 50 different sets of motors being produced with them. Luckily, it died pretty quickly. So yeah, hopefully not too many people wasted their money on those. Frank Nicholas says Mobula6 frequency question was about VTX, not RX. Oh. No, nobody makes VTXs that aren't 5.8 at the moment. TrueRC like has, and if you want, I mean, other than digital, right? Like this is outside of digital, but like you can transmit analog video on any number of different frequencies, and like it's kind of cool looking at TrueRC's website because they have antennas for all of those wacky frequencies. But yeah, there really aren't, it's not common in FPV. The 5.8 band actually does a really good job. Like there's a reason that our analog video is on that 5.8 band. So yeah, it actually does a pretty good job. I remember, Wesley Vardy's video that got taken down. It was really impressive, how far out the video range got, and Christ, the video even came back when he was the 10 kilometers out at some point. That was super impressive. So yeah, we bitch a lot about 5.8 on video, but it actually works pretty well if you really kind of look at it. But yeah, there really are very little to no. I don't know of any bind and flies that are on anything other than 5.8. And I've only ever seen one or two VTXs like randomly on Amazon or some wacky website that transmit on any of the lower frequencies. Usually I think it's 1.2. I don't think I've ever seen video on 900. I think video, the lowest frequency I've ever seen is 1.2. Don't quote me on that though. Yeah. Jesse Garcia says, evening ganglies and gangles and gang. Michael D says, awesome. Thank you for sharing the 411 on the 1002 tune. You're certainly welcome. And Mr. Huggy says, 1604 motors have been fine so far. Very cool. How notchy are they, Mr. Huggy? Are they nice and smooth? I've been assuming that they're nice and smooth. All right, so I've got the regular old Runcam Nano 3 into the ghostly canopy. Let's get this ghostly 32,000 kV ultimate freestyle TinyWhoop back together here, because I've got a bunch of TinyWhoop batteries just sitting here charged that really need to be discharged, and so we're gonna do that. And I also want to show you, I set the Zotek from Weebly sent me his really nice LED cube gate, and I had built it raw. I couldn't figure out how to build it as a cube because my brain is very smooth, and so I built it as like an X or like a cross, and it was really cool like that, but it was a little flimsy because it's not meant to be like that. And then I went on his website the other day and I was like, oh look, it pretty much shows you exactly how to do it, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. So I did that today. I set it up as the cube formation, and yeah, so I can show you guys what to expect from that. And I also figured out there's like a demo mode on it, and the demo mode cycles through all the different modes in the LEDs. So you guys will get to see that as well. Every single time I fly towards it, it'll be flashing a different sequence of colors and lights and speeds and donkeys. So yeah, there's like a million different LED modes on it. It's a really cool design. I wonder I wonder if Zotek like manufactures it. or if it's manufactured before it gets to him, because like it's really well thought out and it's just kind of really well done. So it feels like maybe he's doing some of the manufacturing on his side. But yeah, really, really cool of him to send that over. And I've loved kind of having it in each one of the most recent streams that I've flown around. And now it'll be in there even more because it won't be like kind of falling over as the weird X configuration that I had it in. Mr. Huggy says the 1604s are notchy but smooth, if that makes sense. Do you mean smooth once the quad is on? Or do you mean that when you turn the motor, the notches are very close together? Yeah, because all motors are going to appear to be smooth when once the quad is running, but they're still putting, if it's a notchy motor, they're still putting vibrations into the gyro. There's no way to get around that. In most cases, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of one of those things. I just noticed that I actually did manage to break one of these Mobula6 canopies. I mean, it's in a spot where it has 3 more supports, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I did finally manage to break a little tiny bit of one of these Mobula6 canopies, which is kind of insane that it's taken this long, because good lord do I punish these things. It looks like this one might be broke up on the top too. Again, it doesn't matter. This is just like this is not like a super structural part of the frame, but I got a little crack here as well. These Mobula6 canopies are just absurd. They're just so stout. All right, so this guy is back on its 2 little fetuses. We're gonna fly it around here in a minute. We're all oh, that was the thing that I didn't have room to put in the stream title, but we are going to be doing today. We're going to do a couple of batteries on the Bobito, and we are going to, the Chubeeto, and we are going to kind of myth bust the 35mm propellers versus standard 31mm propellers. I'm really stacking the deck in favor of these 35mm propellers. If there's any motor that's going to benefit for these, it's this one. This is a Newbie Drone 0802 27000. And these tri-blade props that are on here are very low pitch. These are the new Gemfan 1208s. These are significantly more pitchy. So if there's a setup that's going to show that these 35s make more power, this is the one. So I have a feeling that they will make more power, but I also have a feeling that the PID tune is going to go to hell. We'll take a look in a little bit here and see what's happening. So here I've got this little OG Runcam Nano here. And yeah, I can't like hear anything rattling around. I'm sure I won't be able to see anything. The little plastic box that the lens is a part of is like welded or something down to it's not welded, but it's like glued or something down to the board here. And yeah, I mean, there's just really just doesn't look like there's any way to get it off. I mean, the camera is blown up. The camera is so out of focus that it's completely unflyable. So I'll probably screw around with this and see if I can pry this lens part off and see if I can figure out what's going on the inside. But if I do get it off, I doubt that I'll be able to get it back together. So she did, but we'll play around with it, just not right now because we have other stuff to do. This is now an extra little Mobula6 canopy in the smokiest of crotch grays. Christopher Taylor says, thoughts on the new AOS 4 Evo. AOS 4? He's doing a 4-inch frame? Let me take a look. I've not heard of that yet. AOS 4. So Evo is referencing basically, Chris has set them up for the O3R unit. So it's just a slight change to the front of the quad so that they can fit that big old camera. I don't think I don't think he had to change the rear of the rig very much. Although, you know what? He changed the top plate too. He changed the top plate to accept hard-mounted XT30 and XT60s, which, I don't know. He said he's gotten a lot of requests for it. I don't know if... I'm gonna... I guess those requests are for new people that haven't realized why we stopped doing that years and years and years ago. Basically, it breaks the XT30. When you have a hard-mounted XT30 or 60 like this, and then you crash hard, the battery slams into it and it breaks it. So we moved away from that many, many years ago. It's confusing why people are asking for it. It's also kind of an awful design in terms of the battery leads, right? Like your battery leads are now going to go directly down into the space for your flight controller and or ESC. So it doesn't really work for the packaging of the quads. But hey, all Chris had to do was put 2 extra little holes here, and then if you want to make a bad decision, you can. Very cool. 4-inch AOS. Pretty slick. I mean, I'm assuming it's just the AOS 3 central school bus style body area with slightly longer arms. Nothing wrong with that. I've not built one of these, one of this style AOS yet. I just finished up this AOS Cine25 and talked a bunch about it on the previous live stream. What I like, what I don't like. I think it makes more sense like this. I think Chris's design, realistically, all the AOS Cine25 is one of these with an extra plate added in here, with the carbon fiber surround around the propeller, and yeah, the way that outer the way that the outer area here is kind of set up, it's pretty flimsy, and on the very first crash from just like a couple of feet up, both the top and the bottom plates broke on mine, which we talked a ton about on Monday. So if you want more of that conversation, you can check that out. Did this arm break too? No. Hold on. Okay, no. That's just I was gonna say, that is super surprising. There's something weird with the carbon. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. When the carbon got milled out, it's just not very clean, and it looks like it's broken. But yeah, that would make no sense. So yeah, there's that. Speaking of, I mean, I guess we might as well just talk about the AOS Cine25. I did get this in the air. I did not replace the top and bottom plates yet. I just assumed that they would be kind of fine for just flight testing a little bit more, to try and figure out what the hell happened to the ESC, and kind of fascinating results if I'm really honest. So Bluejay 0.16 was a very stable version, and ever since then there's been Bluejay 0.17, 0.18, and now 0.19, and they're all like more beta kind of releases, and they don't work properly on apparently a bunch of different things. They do not work right on this Mamba 30 amp ESC, and they also do not work right on the Acon 60 amp AIO. I don't know, it seems pretty random, but both of these, if you backdate it and put it onto Bluejay 0.16, they're completely fine. So that's what got me on this. This was on Bluejay 0.19, and it was very weird when I would do backflips or when I would push it hard. One of the front motors would desync and it would just fall out of the air. Well, they would desync for like a split second it would do a little bit of a death roll and then they would come back. So sometimes I could catch it, but if I was really low to the ground, I didn't have time to catch it. I tried. So the sequence of events was, I did this yesterday. I remembered that problem with Bluejay 0.19 on the Tooth Fairy 2 from before the Miami Beach gig. So the first thing I did was put BL Heli on this, and it was completely fine. And then I thought, all right, hold on. Let me try Bluejay 0.17 to confirm, because on that rig, I went from Bluejay 0.19 to 0.18 to 0.17. Nothing changed. I went back up to 0.19, and I adjusted every single setting in Bluejay. Startup power, PWM dithering, all of them. Each option, one by one. Boom, 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 boom. Turn them on, turn them off. Turn the value up, turn the value down. And nothing helped. And then what I remembered is that I had that same Acon ESC, AIO rather, on the 250 builds, and it was completely fine. And that was back in the days of Bluejay 0.16. So on that build, I then put Bluejay 0.16 on it, and it was completely fine. So I knew that going into this, so that's why the first thing I did was put BL Heli on it, and that was completely fine. The next thing I did was go to 0.17 just to test it, and 0.17 was worse than 0.19, Bluejay. And then I went to Bluejay 0.16, and it was completely fine, and it makes a little bit more power than it did on BL Heli. So I didn't remember the 0.16 thing until after Miami Beach. So the Tooth Fairy still has BL Heli on it, so I'm going to be putting the Tooth Fairy onto 0.16 because, yeah, Bluejay just makes more power than BL Heli for whatever reason. And, yeah, this guy is going to live on Bluejay 0.16. Here's the problem, though. 0.16 is not on escconfigurator.com. It only has 0.17, 0.18, and 0.19. But you can still get 0.16, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to give you the link to do it. Here's the link. Do yourself a favor and bookmark that link, because you're going to need it at some point, I'll bet. This is every single hex for every single different type of ESC CPU, I guess, in Bluejay. So basically what you're going to do, if you're having some problems with... So the easiest thing to do, if you suspect you're having problems with Bluejay 0.19, 0.18, 0.17, quickest and easiest thing to do on esc-configurator.com is just to put BL Heli on there. Just throw BL Heli on there, and if it starts behaving better, you're good to go. If not, you got probably another problem. Hey, shout out to Brandon Woodford. Brandon Woodford is who emailed me. When we were talking about this previously, Brandon said, hey, there is a way to get 0.16 again, and here's how you do it. And he sent me this link that I just dropped into the chat, as well as he sent me a link to the old school Bluejay configurator, but unfortunately the configurator only goes up to 0.14. There is no 0.15 or 0.16 on here, so you can't use this Bluejay configurator for 0.16, which I just realized yesterday, and so I'm going to just remove it because there's no real reason for it to be on here. So here's what you do. If you want to get back to Bluejay 0.16, you're going to fire up escconfigurator.com. You're going to connect your rig just like you normally did. And then over on the right side above the individual ESCs, it's going to have the code. It's going to have A-H-10 or C-H-20. There's a million different ones, but it's going to tell you right there. And it's going to be in this format. It's going to be a letter underscore, another letter underscore, and then a number. So just like write that down or just remember it, and then hit this link, come on over here, and now you're going to need to find the appropriate one. So in my case with this Mamba ESC, it was CH20, I believe it was. So I scrolled down here and I found 1, 2, 3 different CH20 options. One of them for 24 kilohertz, one of them for 48 kilohertz, one of them for 96 kilohertz. And that's it. 96 kilohertz can go die. 24K is great. 48K is right in the middle. If you want better flight performance from better motor braking, you want 24. If you want more horsepower and more efficiency, you want 48. If you want to hate your life, you want 96. So yeah, 48 is kind of the way to go. You can't just click that. Oh, looks like you can. Okay, cool. I thought you had to do like the weird control click thing, but it looks like, yeah, you just need to click it and then it'll download. And now you've got the hex on your hard drive. So at this point, you go to escconfigurator.com, you link up, and there's going to be an option for load local file. I might as well show it to you. It'll only take a second. So I can also show you where to see the version of your ESC computer. So you hook up here. I'm going to need to give it power too. You hook up power. Make sure you do this with your props off. That is important. The song of our people. You're going to click connect here. You're going to click read settings. And then, so here it is, CH40. It tells you right here, that's your version. So that's how you know which one to download. And then what you're going to do is click flash all ESCs. But instead of doing all this jibber jabber here, you're going to hit this great big button that says flash local firmware. And then you need to point it at that little hex file that you downloaded. And that's pretty much it. It's going to flash them all to that version, and away you go. Do any of these options allow the... No, see? It's only got 19, 18, and 17. That's super annoying. I hope maybe they change that at some point. And that's how you do it. That's how you get Bluejay 0.6 onto your BL Heli S ESC. And really, like, Bluejay is significantly better than BL Heli. I don't know if it's better than JESC. I've never really, like, tested those two against one another. But it's definitely better than BL Heli, which is really nice. So, yeah, there's that. And that's so, the other thing that I wanted to talk about with this AOS Cine25 is motor sizing and propellers. My other live flying rig here, which is the QAV Pro, is on Iflight Xing 1504 3900 kV motors. Unfortunately, these motors are no longer made because they were awesome. But 1504 3900 kV, all right? And so I'm pretty used to the way this flies. This is a heavier frame, so I went with a lighter weight motor to try to offset that. This is on a T motor, 1404, 4600 kV. So 1 millimeter less of stator diameter, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is, because 15 versus 14, if you think about that in percentages, that's like a 7 or 8% increase in stator width. That's a big deal. The 1504s are a significant increase in stator volume. But this is only 3900 kV, and these are 4600 kV. On the same propeller, the difference is staggering. For a while now, I've been really convinced that none of our micromotors are a high enough kV, and we're really lacking in either higher pitch propellers to take advantage of these lower kVs, or just motors that are wound at a higher kV. And this little comparison is absolutely proof positive of that. This rig with significantly less stator volume but more kV makes so much more thrust than this does on the same propellers. It's really kind of ridiculous. And so I started putting different props on this to try to make up the difference. I put HQ 6 blades on it, and it was starting to get there, and then I put these Gemfan 5 blades on it, and that really woke it up. So this rig, it's down on KV, but it's up on stator volume. So a heavier, more draggy propeller like this enabled this 1504 to make a bunch more power. Basically, this 1504 is underpropped on any of the currently available tri-blades. I meant to order, but I don't have them yet. I didn't get the order in yet, I should say. I meant to order the why can't I think of the name of the company all of a sudden? They're a 40 pitch. They're a 2540. It's the company that makes the bent props. The props with the bent blades. I keep wanting to say Avada, but that's not it. You guys know what company They're the smaller prop company, and all their propellers the blades are like that. They have a 2540 propeller, and that seems to be the most pitchy prop that we've got access to in tri-blades. So I am going to get those, and I am going to run those on these 1504s, but after putting not Avan, but yeah, they're not going to be enough. Yeah, they're just not. They're not going to be enough. These motors at this KV, they need Azure. That's it. Thank you, Pedro. Azure. Yeah, Azure 2540s are coming. I am going to try them out, but I'm almost certainly not going to stick with them on this rig at least. I'm probably going to put them on this guy because they're the most efficient of the 2.5-inch props. But yeah, so this rig, if I decide to keep it on these motors, which I probably won't, to be honest, but if it stays on these motors, it needs these multi-bladed 2.5-inch propellers. I need these rigs to be efficient, though. I don't need them to be quiet. These multi-bladed propellers are really good at being quiet. That is not of concern to me. So I'm probably not going to keep this thing on these Xing 1504s. I'm probably going to snag another set of 1404s for this. I mean, I'm tempted to put this on a different 1404 to kind of test them, but because these are working rigs, I'm almost certainly going to just snag another set of the T-Motor 1404s because they're working really good on here. I've heard really good things about them from multiple people, and they've done really good in some actual lab testing, thrust testing. So yeah, I'll probably have both of these rigs on T-Motor 1404s, not for this weekend, but for the remainder of the live cycling gigs this year. A little bit boring, I know, but there's only so much that I can test, and I try not to do much, if any, testing when I'm being paid at these gigs, right? Like I'll test stuff that's I'm like 99% sure won't fail and fall out of the sky. But yeah, like there are motors that I trust, you know what I mean? If I do, here's what I'll say. If I do put something on this, nope, it's this one. If I do put something on this other than the T-Motor 1404s, it'll be the Axis 1404s. But I kind of think I want to do the T-Motor 1404s anyway, because that will take the motor efficiency out of the equation, and it'll allow me to one-to-one look at whether or not the AOS frame is more aerodynamic and efficient than the QAV Pro frame, which is a big deal for me. So I'll probably get the T-Motors just for that reason. I'm sure the Axises are the same efficiency, but you know, I would love to have another set of the T-Motor 1404s anyway, because they're just awesome. So yeah, if I get a set of those to confirm the efficiency thing about these frames, if I decide that I then want to test the Axis motors versus the T-Motors, I'll just pull the 1404, the T-Motor 1404s off of here and put them on like a freestyle rig, and we'll see how they do being bashed into the concrete, and then I can put the Axis motors on here. But yeah, to really get a good feel, because like, you know, so this weekend, this Saturday at Anniston, Alabama for the crit race, I'm gonna fly both of these for sure, and I'm gonna get a really good feel for the efficiency difference. But this thing on these 5 blades is like crippled in terms of efficiency. Like, this is certainly going to be more efficient, and like, so this has a more efficient propeller, a lighter weight motor, and it's got the extra airflow here around the outside of the arm, whereas with this guy, there's more blockage of the thrust. So this frame is probably less efficient, and these motors and these propellers are also less efficient. So I'm almost certain that there's going to be a huge, and I kind of already saw this yesterday, this thing was like really efficient. But yeah, there's almost certainly going to be a drastic difference between these two. That's fine. I need this, you know, it's like 2 days before the event, and at this point, like, I stop changing things and just get stuff to work. Yeah, more testing will follow, but I don't know, maybe there'll be a situation where I need a rig that's really quiet. Actually, you know, what's interesting about that is, like, at the Miami Beach event, there were a couple situations where they asked me to fly somewhat close to the announcer with a microphone, and so technically speaking, I mean, maybe there is use for a quiet rig, but like, the crowd is making noise, and like, they're on a PA system anyway, so yeah. And until they ask me if I can build a quieter rig, right? And actually, all I would need to do is swap the propellers. Yeah, there's no reason to have a rig that's specifically set up to be quiet, because if they need me to be quiet, I just put the Gemfan 5 blades onto this rig, or this rig once it's on the smaller motors, and, you know, for the intro, they did that during the intro. So during the intro, I put the 5 blades on, and then as soon as the intro is over and the race starts, swap over to the tri-blades for more efficiency, and away you go. So, yeah. Alec Dvornik says, I hope you're doing well, CiottiFPV and Collective. I take my Part 107 knowledge test Friday. Wish me luck. Very cool. You won't need luck, Alec. It's pretty easy. It's not easy. It's certainly not easy. But it's multiple choice, and there's only 3 answers. So, like, even if you don't know it all, you've got a 33% chance of getting it right. Typically, one of those 3 answers is pretty dumb. So realistically, you've got a 50% chance of getting questions that you don't answer correctly right. And then there's a bunch of questions on there that are just kind of pretty straightforward. So, like, if you've been not doing your Part 107 because you're afraid it's going to be too hard and you're going to fail, that shouldn't be the reason not to do it. Like, for a while, my reason for not doing it was it was really expensive and I didn't have the money. I didn't have $175. But yeah, eventually I just sucked it up and did it. And it was way easier than I thought. I don't talk much about it because I just find Part 107 stuff kind of boring. But I studied for about 6 hours the day before, and I got like an 87 or something like that. Like, I was way above the 70% needed to pass it. And yeah, like I said, about 6 hours of studying. I watched the Northrop's video a couple of times. I left that Northrop video on in the background for like a week. I probably cycled through it 5 or 6 times over the previous week, just leaving it on in the background while I did other stuff. And then there was one other video on YouTube that I watched and I actually paid attention to once all the way through. And then T-Bird actually hooked me up with his login to one of the paid Part 107 training things, and I did a little bit in there. That helped a little bit, I guess, but I mean, you can get all the info on YouTube for free. So yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be good. focus on the sectionals. There's a bunch of there's a whole bunch of questions about the sectionals. So yeah, definitely spend some time really figuring out the sectional charts, and that should be able to get you through. Boiler FPV says, I love my Ripsqueaks, but now I'm looking for a 3 to 3.5 inch frame as an alternative. Boiler, I really wish that I had a suggestion for you. The Ripsqueak was like the last of the lightweight 3-inch frames. At this point, I think my main suggestion is the Quad Mula Siren F3 split. I think that's about as good as it's going to get for us right now. Unfortunately, it's really heavy. It's like 58 or 59 grams. But everything else is significantly heavier than that. So yeah, if you want a 3-inch frame, I would do that one. If you want a 3.5-inch frame, I guess I would say the AOS 3.5. Yeah, frames have gotten outrageously heavy over the last couple of years, mainly because they've all incorporated a rear 20x20 mount for vistas and stuff like that. And yeah, that's just made them get a lot fatter. But I don't know. Someday my frame will be out, and it will be the best possible replacement for a Ripsqueak. So Brandon Woodford says, thanks for the shout out, man. You're certainly welcome. Thanks for the email. Let me know about 0.16. I just assumed it was gone because it wasn't on ESC configurator anymore. Christopher Taylor says, yes, I have FPV Cycle 23mm shorts to try it on. It has 3mm standoffs, which is nice. What do we talk? We're talking about the AOS 4 Evo. It has 3mm stand. Oh, nice. Okay, 3mm standoffs. That's good. I'm really glad that they did that rather than the M2 standoffs. Very cool. 23mm. The FPV Cycle 23mm. So those are 2303.5. I think it is. Might be 2304. That's more of a CineWhoop kind of motor. You're going to get really good throttle resolution in like the lower to middle throttle range, but then up at the top of the throttle, those motors are not like anything special, and they kind of die at the top of the throttle. Perfect for a CineWhoop where you're never at the top of the throttle, but if you're building a freestyle rig, which I assume, that frame is like a freestyle frame, you would be better off getting a motor that's a little bit taller. Umagod just came out with 1605s. If they're durable, that would be probably the perfect motor for that rig. Or an 1805 if you can find that size. I don't think I've ever seen an 1805. But yeah, Umagod's new 1605. I bet you that's like the perfect stator size for 4-inch freestyle. The reason I question the durability is that Tommy's 2004s had a lot of problems with durability, and the 1605 looks just like them. I have to assume that with all of the durability issues with the 2004s, and the 2004s came out like 2+ years ago, I have to assume that has been sorted by now. So the 1605s should be good to go, but I have no idea. So, yeah, there's that. Let me see real quick. 1805 FPV motor. I don't think that size exists. All right, so there is an 1806 though. This Xing 1806 would be a really good choice as well. Yeah, so that's what I would recommend. I would recommend either this Xing 1806 if you want big power, or if you want to guinea pig them, the Umagod 1605s would probably... this is probably going to be a bit much. 1806 is an awful lot of motor. I would go with the 1605 before this. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what the motor shaft diameter is. I was adamant with Tommy when we were talking about that, the ultimate 3.5-inch motor a couple of years ago. I was absolutely adamant that it has to have a 3mm motor shaft, and this Xing 1806 does not look like it has a 3mm motor shaft. That looks... that might be 3 mil. It's kind of deceiving because this is an 18mm wide motor. Oh, that's hard to tell. Oh, nope, that's 3 mil. That's 3 mil. I can tell because this T-mount is 1.5 millimeters, and now look at how much thicker the actual motor shaft is. So good on you, Iflight. Thank God that you put a 3 millimeter motor shaft on this. So yeah, a definite thumbs up to these Xing 1806s. But like I said, 1806 is a lot of stator, man. That's gonna make a ton of power. The oh my god, 1605s are probably gonna be. Oh, but you know what the problem with these is gonna be is the dual mount base. Ah, crap. So here's what's going to happen. Tommy designs his motors to save a little bit of weight with a 2-mount motor base, and that's okay. The problem arises where he sends the wires sideways. Basically, he sends the wires at a 45-degree angle from the way that they normally are, so that when you mount these 2-bolt motors vertically on the end of his arms, the motor wires come out down the length of the arm. Well, if you put these motors on any other frame that has the motor mounts, you know, squared off, the motor is going to sit like that or like that, and the motor wires are going to come at a 45-degree angle, which means that the motor wires are going to come off the end of the carbon fiber arm. They're going to go out into no man's land, and then you're going to have to bend them down back on the arm, and it's just not good. Like, they hang out a lot, and then like if you're crashing through a tree, the sticks are going to try to grab them, and it's just not, it's just no good. I know this seems like kind of nothing, but when you bolt these down to a regular arm, you're just like, oh fuck, like this is not great. So I'm actually gonna have to say go with the Xings. I love Tommy so much, but it's kind of a big deal. What else is there? We are super limited on motors in this size. So I would tell you, so this is going to be too small. 1604 is going to be too small. This is more for 3.5-inch props. I mean, one thing that you can certainly do, and something that I actually prefer, is for a 4-inch frame to run it on 3.5-inch propellers. I find that 4-inch rigs that are like around 300 grams, which is probably where your build will be, on 4-inch props, it's a little bit too floaty. It feels more like a toothpick than a 5-inch rig. Moving down to a 3.5-inch prop fixes that problem, and it still flies great and makes plenty of power. So if you were to drop down to a 3.5-inch prop on that rig, you could do this 1604 3800 kV motor, and it would fly great. Do your build on 4S. 6S is no good for small rigs. It doesn't really have any benefits, and it's harder on the ESCs. So you could do those 1604s, but to be honest, what I would do is 1804s. I would go to the X-Nova 1804 in 3500 kV. It's a known quantity. It's got a 3 millimeter motor shaft. It's going to be just super, super, super bulletproof. And on 3500 kV with 3.5-inch props, it's going to make really, really good power. So I would actually go that route. If you're planning on going up to 4-inch tri-blade propellers, though, this is not the way to go. The 1804 does not have quite enough stator volume to control a 4-inch tri-blade propeller all that well. The minimum motor size for that is 2004. 2004, though, you start to fall back into this world where it's more of a TinyWhoop motor, and the top of the throttle just doesn't really do anything. With freestyle rigs, usually you want a little bit more resolution up on the top, and that in order to get that, you want a motor that's a little bit more tall versus width. It's the easiest way to look at this is the ratio of the width to the height. For freestyle, you want the width of the motor to be roughly triple the height of the motor. So 2207, 71421, very close to 22. 2306, 6, 12, 18, 24. 24 is higher than 23, so drop that down. It's close to 3 to 1. 1804, 4, 8, 12, 16. So it's closer to 4 to 1, but it's still in the ballpark. The 2004 is even worse. And then those flat motors, the 2203.5 or 2204, whatever they are, it's continuing to go. That's going all the way towards like 5 to 1 ratio of height to width. So yeah, that's kind of how that works, and that's kind of where you want to be there. Looks like there's a Hyperlight 1804.5, but those tend to be not all that durable. There's the Iflight 1806. Yeah, we are really limited on motors in this size. It's very, very frustrating. Looks like RC and Power has an 1804. There's no reason to get any of these 1804s because the X-Nova is just so good. And I mean, that's really it. These are like the only motors that are going to work for... I mean, they're not the only motors that are worked, but these are the motors that are going to perform really well. If you get up into 20 millimeter wide stators, they're pretty much all 2004s. You know, like 2205, that's way too much motor. 2005, again, that's just kind of way too... that's too much. That's too much motor. What else? Yeah, I mean, anything 20 millimeters wide is it's just going to be too much. So here's another 2005. I mean, if you want like all the power in the world, a 2005, you know, it's giving you that 4 to 1 ratio. But it's just going to eat your batteries, and the rig is going to be so overpowered. I mean, I guess if you're planning on carrying a big heavy HD cam on there, this might work. But if you're shooting for like a 300-ish gram build, any of these motors are just going to make so much power. It's going to be really tricky to control your elevation on that rig. So yeah, there's a big long answer to a short question. Something I'm really good at. Mr. Huggy says, yes, the notches are close together. He's talking about the T-Motor 1604s. That's really good news. And I think I'm caught up on chat up on the top here. Now I can scroll down a little bit. I'm sure there's some loveliness waiting for me. CiottiFPV is in the house. She says, what's up? What's the latest on the AOS 2.5? Rewind back 40-ish minutes. You'll see me start waving it around. I went through it. It's a big, long description of what's going on. The too long didn't read version is Bluejay 0.19, 0.18, and 0.17 have problems on a bunch of different ESCs and AIOs. And apparently this is one of them. I've now run into 2 in a row. Putting it onto BL Heli fixed it, and then putting it onto Bluejay 0.16 fixed it. But for the full description, yeah, we went through it a little bit ago. Bitterroot says that Xing only takes 1 special prop. What Xing only takes 1 special prop? Bitterroot. Off Axis says, what battery would you recommend for a 75 gram, 2.5 inch prop AIO build with crossfire using 3S 520 and flies decent? It depends on the motors. There it is. Using 1204 3750 kV. That's a really low kV motor, especially for 3S. I would go up to 4S. Will the AIO take 4S off axis? I think the problem, I mean, by you asking this question, I'm assuming that you don't love the way it flies, and also you said it flies decent. Yeah, the problem you're having is not enough RPM. So yeah, go to a 4S. I would get like the lightest 4S that you can find. Maybe there's a 380 mAh. Off Axis says it wobbles a bit. More than likely, that's just a function of it not having enough power. The PID loop just doesn't have enough power available to to kind of lock it in. So yeah, you need to get that thing onto 4S like ASAP. Christ, to be honest, 5S would be even better, but you're not going to find a lightweight 5S battery for that. So yeah, get it. Find the lightest weight 4S battery possible, and get that on there. If the AIO won't take 4S, you need to either swap the AIO or swap the motors. Get a motor that's minimum 5,000 kV on there, and it's going to help out quite a bit. Bitterroot says the Xing 1806. What? There's only one propeller. What is wrong with people? What the hell? There it is. Wow. I knew this. I remember this from a while ago. I just forgot. Shame on you, Iflight. Like 100% shame on you for doing that. That is completely inexcusable. Completely and utterly inexcusable to do that. That creates a nightmare for everybody involved. And quite honestly, all you're doing is shooting yourself in the balls, because everybody that buys this, like, I don't, like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't, what do you guys think? Do manufacturers do this specifically to try to trick people, or are they just so dumb that they don't realize what a horrible idea it is? What is it? Are they evil, or are they just dumb? Because there's no other option. There's nothing in between there. They're either evil and they're trying to capitalize on, like, locking people in to buying only their propellers and only their motors, or they're so stupid that they don't realize that a shitload of people are going to buy this assuming that it's like every other motor that's almost ever been made, and it will take the completely industry standard propeller that everybody else uses. Which do you guys think it is? Just type in the chat, evil or dumb. Very interested to see what you guys think. 100% shame on Iflight for doing this. All the shame in the entire world. So here's another way that you can tell the motor how big the motor shaft is. Japanese NSK bearings, 7 by 7 by 3. See that 3 there? That 3 is the inner diameter. So if this was a 2mm motor shaft motor, it would be 7 by 7 by 2. So yeah, that's one of the ways. A lot of times they don't give you this spec though. They'll just say Japanese bearings. This is great. I love this. I love that they did a titanium motor shaft. I really love that, actually. That's very rare in micromotors. But yeah, this is completely inexcusable. This is completely and utterly asinine that they've done this. So yeah, definitely don't get these motors. Definitely not. At which point, I don't know what to recommend. There is not a motor. I mean, these are probably made by GemFan, judging by the colors. Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, well, it's a 5-inch prop, so it doesn't do you any good anyway. Doesn't do you any good anyway. Doesn't do you any good. Nope. So you can't do it. You can't do it. Yeah, don't buy those motors. Like, what I was gonna say is this prop is probably okay. But what a bunch of goddamn idiots. What? Come on now. Did they do it because of the 3mm motor shaft though? Because, like, look at this, right? Can I blow this up? Look at how close the T-mount holes are to the 3mm bit here. I'm not gonna feel bad about this if that's the case. Like, I'm not gonna feel bad about torching them for the last 2 minutes, because there are other 3mm motor shaft motors like the Xnova 1804s that have managed to make them regular old T-mount. God damn it, I can't. There's no picture. I need a picture of the top of the bell. Hey, there we go. All right, so it looks like maybe T-Motor got away with. Well, you know, I've not bought one of these T-mount 1804s. There's a chance that these T-mount 1804s are not a 3mm rotor shaft. I can't imagine that they would do that, but hold on. Does this give us the spec? No, it doesn't give us the spec down there. I need to find a little spec sheet on these Xnovas to try to look at the look for the either the bearing dimensions or the. Anybody in chat have the T-mount Xnova 1804s that can confirm or deny the the motor shaft diameter? I have the M5 mount version. Christopher Taylor says the FPV cycle is the only 16mm in town. Yeah, but it's out of stock, and it's been out of stock for a long time. And apparently it's incredibly notchy, which freaks me out. Jesus, what a nightmare. Well, let's check out a couple rotor builds and see if anybody has a picture that shows the bottom where we can see the diameter of the motor shaft. Nobody's gonna, but it's worth a quick look. Nope. Damn. Well, here's what I'll say. I have a feeling that the reason Iflight did this was because of how they chose to mount the. Because they chose to do this and to have the 3mm come all the way up here, that did not leave them. This is just assumptions, but it didn't leave them enough room to use the standard T-mount spacing. Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I don't. Truth be told, I do not like T-mount on big motors like these. So here's what I'll bet happened. All right, here's what I'll bet happened. They made this motor. They made it regular T-mount, and it was ripping the. And we've run into this quite a bit. Motors that are over, like bigger than 1404, they do this thing when they're set up T-mount where they rip the bell off of the motor shaft because and this is a weakness of T-mount. T-mount mounts the propeller to only the bell, right? Like this, so it then tries to separate the entire time it's making thrust. It tries to separate the bell from the motor shaft. And so, in my opinion, when you go north of 1404, they should all be M5 mount because that does not have that problem. So the fact that people are making T-mount motors this big, to me, that's the problem. And I'll bet you what happened is Xing made this motor with standard T-mount and it ripped the bell right off the shaft. And instead of saying, oh, well, the problem is to go M5 mount, they chose to solve that problem this way. But in the process, they had to push these mount holes out, at which point they should have stopped and said, hey, that's the worst idea ever. Let's definitely not do that. What's another solution? Oh, look, M5. Done. So, yeah. Definitely don't buy this motor because you've only got one propeller option, and that's absolutely the dumbest shit ever. So yeah, absolutely don't buy this motor, but I guess I gave you a couple options maybe, but oh god, the motor selection that's available to us is just shit right now. Okay, no, it is possible because look, this is a 3mm motor shaft. I'm pretty sure this is no, it's not. This is a 2mm motor shaft. I'll be damned. So here's a challenge. Who can find a motor that's regular T-mount with a 3mm motor shaft? Now that I'm thinking about it, every single motor that I know of with a 3mm motor shaft is M5. And, like, that's a good thing. But I was just there. But to fully shame Iflight, we need to find someone else. We need to find someone else that's done it. So one of the other motors that I know, and when I was talking earlier about how I know for a fact that with a 15mm wide motor, they can do a 3mm motor shaft. This is the reason why I know that. This RCN Power 1506 has a 3mm motor shaft. Unfortunately, this is the notchiest motor I have ever come across, and it just lights your batteries on fire, and it's just a hot mess to try and tune. But yeah, this is a 3mm motor shaft, but look, it's M5. I can't think of I bet you there's one. Wait a second, what about all the 2004s? Yeah, no, you can do it, because there's no. There's a whole bunch of 2004s with 3mm motor I have one right fucking here. Jesus, I have two. These are both 3mm motor shafts, aren't they? Yep. Nope, it's possible. Full shame on Iflight. These are both 3mm motor shafts. And M2. Standard T-mount. But the motor mount base is raised. No, it's not really raised on this one. Not really raised on this one. Yeah. It can be done. It can be done. They just didn't. They just chose not to, or didn't, or I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there, but terrible troubleshoot. To go with a completely proprietary prop design. That's just insane. That's completely insane. Marcel says, yes, it's 4S capable. Thanks, I'll try low MAH 4S. Off axis, here, when you go from 3S to 4S, there is going to be a real increase in electrical noise. So be careful that it doesn't just fly away forever. Maybe preemptively pull your sliders down a little bit. Because yeah, and if all of a sudden the rig is too noisy to tune, a capacitor usually helps with that. But yeah, you guys, like, always keep in mind that when you go up in voltage, 1S to 2S, 2S to 3S, you're going to be dumping a bunch more electrical noise into that rig. So just keep that in mind. You might need to do a capacitor, and you might need to swap ESCs or AIOs out to one that handles electrical noise better. WeBleedFPV says, so what should I focus on? What's that need to have motor? Let me take a crack at it. Man, it depends, Zotek. 2 years ago, there were a whole bunch of really good motor options. We had the Toka 1505. We had the Xing 1504. It's when I found out about the X. I was already flying the Xnova 1804 at that point. Tommy and I's conversation, like it was a similar conversation of like, you know, hey, what's the motor that we don't have, and that's where the 1605 came from, right? So at the time we had 1404s, we had 1504, we had 1505, and then there was just a big hole all the way up to 1804, and then 2004. So the 1604 is right on in there, and sorry, 1605. So yeah, it might be 1605, but with a standard motor base. Like I absolutely love that Tommy made these 1605s, but having the wires exit 45 degrees different than every other motor locks you into only putting that motor on. The only frame that I can say right now that motor will work on is the 250. So yeah, it locks that motor into that one frame, which is super annoying. So I think like the biggest hole in micromotors is that 1605 size, but with a 3mm motor shaft, of course, as we've been talking about, but just with regular motor wires, so it can be used on every other frame. 1605 is going to work really well on 3.5-inch props, and it's going to work really well on 4-inch props. 4-inch props, I think, are going to have a little bit of a kind of renaissance because of the O3 air unit. The O3 air unit on board something like the AOS 4, where the props are out of view, that's amazing because you've got great 4K quality footage. You've got a rig that's the right weight. I mean, that's the right build. You could argue that 3.5 inch is the right size, but 3.5 to 4-inch is the right size for the payload that is an O3 air unit. 4-inch is actually a little bit too big, but there are a bunch of good 4-inch frames right now, like the Apex 4-inch. So yeah, a 1605 motor kind of splits the difference, and would potentially be like the one motor, and it's a motor size that we don't have, right? Like we've got all these 1507s, but they're actually too tall. We've got 1408s, they're way too tall. We've got a shitload of 1404s, and then we've got a shitload of 2004s. We've got one good 1804, and now we've got one good 1604. Hey, whoever it was that has the 1604, can you confirm if it's a 2mm or a 3mm motor shaft for me? So yeah, I think 1605 is like the size. And also in terms of the 3-to-1 width to height ratio, 1605 is right there, right? 5, 10, 15, right next to 16. So that's pretty much 3-to-1 ratio, perfect freestyle motor. So yeah, I would love a 1605 with standard motor wire outputs, with a 3mm motor shaft that's not super notchy, that's nice and smooth when you turn it by hand, that is durable. Ideally set up for M5 with an M5 motor shaft. Actually, no, preferably M5 over T-mount. Ideally, two versions of it, one M5 version, one T-mount version, which motor manufacturers should be able to do because the stator is the same. So they just have to have a separate run of you know, split their bell run in half and have half run with M5, half with T-mount. But M5 would really be preferred. So Bitterroot says 1806 equals 3-to-1, 6, 12, 18. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's like a double shame that those 1806s are the dumb. Are there any other 1806s? I don't think so. Maybe? I don't think so. 1806 FPV motor. 1404. No, it's just that. It's just that Xing 2. God damn, is that a shame? Because, yeah, 1806 may very well be the perfect motor for 4-inch. but 4 inches, I think 3.5 inches is actually still better than 4 inch, if I'm completely honest, because the O3 air unit is just it's not heavy enough to really require 4 inch. It's the perfect weight for a 3.5 inch build. You could argue that it's the perfect weight for a 3 inch build, if I'm completely honest, but I'll say this. The O3 air unit in my frame will absolutely work perfectly on a 3 inch prop. On all of these other frames, because they're so much heavier, it's going to want a 3.5 inch prop. So yeah, there's that. EVFPV says, all caught up on the AOS 25 Bluejay drama now. Holy fuck, that's annoying. Yeah, you're telling me. CMYK says, Tiny Lifter 1102 10,000 kV LOL we bleed. Yeah, that would be nice. Although, I mean, realistically, the Tiny Lifters need to use the Newbie Drone BLV4 and the Newbie Drone 1102 10,000s are already plugged for it. So like, until we figure out a Tiny Lifter build, not even figure out, until someone makes an AIO that's going to work for a Tiny Lifter build. So far, Newbie Drone is the only one that have done it. There's really no need for a regularly wired, a regular connectored 1102 10,000 kV. EVFPV says, glad it's airworthy now. Yeah, it is very airworthy too. My God, the T-Motor 1404 4600s fucking rip. Way more power than I need. I'm actually going to be motor limiting them down significantly. It like hauls. It's kind of crazy. Weebleed FPV says, side note, Newbie Drone just dropped 0702 20,007 kV dual ball bearings out now. No way. Dude, lots of news on this stream. Jesus. All new arrivals. Look at Newbie Drone doing a 702. They've been doing a bunch of these cleanup things too. Some really decent prices to be had. Look at that. Wow. Man, I've been singing the praises of 702s to Kelvin for a while. I guess he believes me. 27,000 kV, a little low for me. I will say this though, these are now hands down the sexiest 702 motors in the world. A double in the world to really just drive that point home. This Newbie Drone bell design, it's just so sexy. It's probably just because I'm a car idiot and I'm into Japanese 90s cars, and this looks pretty much identical to a TE37, which is one of my favorite wheels of all time, but, you know, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. Wow, very cool, man. Very, very cool. I hate to rain on anybody's parade, but the Acro Bs are actually a little heavy for a 702. I love that it's a bearing motor though. I wonder if the racers will have any luck with that motor being on bearings and being a little bit more efficient than all of the other motors, which are on bushings. So that's kind of cool. But you know, that motor is going to come with Newbie Drone's plugs that kind of only work on Newbie Drone AIOs, and so it's the Newbie Drone builds are kind of heavy. So if you do go, here's what I'll say: if you go with these Newbie Drone 702 27,000s and you're putting them onto an Acro B bind and fly, try to shave weight. If you break your cockroach frame, don't cash in on that lifetime warranty. Just take the $3 hit and get a Meteor frame, because a Meteor 65 frame is going to be is a little bit lighter. And then you also want to try to lighten up the other easy thing to lighten up is the canopy and camera setup. You can keep your camera, but what you might want to do is have somebody with a 3D printer make you a Mcstinky mount, or order a Mcstinky mount from me, because I have a whole bunch of them. all you got to do is buy one of my stickers, and I'll send you a Mcstinky mount for free. I've got Gangly Gang stickers here, holographic and matte. I've got a really cool new Apple rainbow-inspired holographic CiottiFPV sticker. If you're super into motorsports, a little Gulf livery Ciotti sticker. There's some Micro King stickers and the regular logo in matte and holographic. Whole bunch of options. And there's a bunch of stickers on Etsy that you can take a look at. Christ, there's even a little sticker sheet here. All these designs done by CMYK. So yeah, bunch of different stickers you can order for me, and I will throw in a Mcstinky mount that works with your Newbie Drone BI camera to save a little bit of weight from that build. And then the 702s will be much. So the Acro Bees out of the box are like 23 point something grams, and that's a good mix for the 802s. But when you drop down to 702s, yes, you save weight because the 702 is lighter than the 802, but the rest of the rig is just a little heavy. So yeah, your best bet would be to shave a little bit of weight there. Denny Flatland BMX says, how did you set up your turtle mode? On what switch? I mean, I have it off on this switch all the way over here on the right side. But I mean, there's no reason to. There's no real specific reason to do it there. My personal reasoning is that like my left hand has arm, and then this is horizon, and then horizon off. So acro, and then acro with black box turned on. So like my general thinking is that with the throttle, you can pick a throttle value and take your fingers off that stick and then manipulate this switch for like air mode or black box or whatever. Once you, like this, you can like, yeah, I mean, you're usually putting pitch and roll in to kind of move the quad around. So you're less likely to be able to get your finger off this switch, which is perfect because beeper and turtle mode only really happen on the ground. So when you're on the ground, you can remove your fingers from this switch and then flip this one around. And I picked this outside one instead of the inside one just because it's easier to hit it. With the inside one, you got to reach around the outside one. And, you know, we want to be receiving reach arounds, not giving them, right? Eva FPV says 03 4-inch with a big battery could be a nice flight time advantage over 3.5. That's true. That is true. Although, good lord, 3.5-inch props are really efficient. So yeah, for a long range rig, for sure, 4-inch. But for a freestyle rig, I would stay 3.5. Pull the arms in a little bit shorter, get the all up weight down a little bit more. And the big thing though for me is that 3.5-inch fall, like it's not so floaty. With a 4-inch, Eva is recommending big battery on the 03 4-inch setup because the big battery is going to add weight, 350, 400 grams all up, to pull the damn thing out of the air so it's not so floaty. Because 4-inch props that are on a rig that's like 300 grams all up weight, it's just too floaty. It's more towards like a toothpick flight experience than a 5-inch freestyle rig flight experience. Grant R says, just bought the Mobula6 1S with the 802 27,000 kV TinyWhoop onesies, brushless motors, iGao edition. Best props in your opinion, 1610 biblades for sure. Also, did you have to mess with the PIDs much? Not at all. Stock PIDs will work, and then just start moving the master multiplier up, and at some point it'll start acting funny and then back it off a little bit. But even at stock PIDs, you'll be good to go. Yeah, those 1610 biblades are what you want. Good to go. That rig is going to be a ripper. BT 2.0 as soon as you can. And yeah, TinyWhoop and Weebly both have BT 2.0 450 mAh batteries for you. Justin Waller says, what's your Walksnail 75mm build going to be? Initially, I'm going to put it in... Initially, it's basically just going to be a Mobula6 1S ELRS. But I have a feeling there's going to be too much duct in view. So I'm going to move it over to a Fractal 75 frame. But on the front end, I'm just going to put it in a regular old Mobula7 V4 frame. Michael D says, have you seen the Beta FPV Pavo Mini? I posted a link on Instagram, posted in Discord. It's currently in beta, and they're testing testing build designs. Build designs? They're looking for suggestions. I thought they were looking for suggestions on the name. I have seen it. It's super interesting. It's got the O3 air unit on it, which is rad. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably really good, but the O3 air units are way outside of my budget, so it's just not realistic for me. Beery FPV says, "What's a Mcstinky mount?" Mcstinky mount is the name of arguably the best. That's not the right button. Yeah, it is the right button. Arguably the best TinyWhoop camera mount. This is the camera mount that most of the top racers use, and here's a link to it. There you go. Christopher Taylor says, check out the TBS Pod Racer 1505 with T-mount. Yeah, I have one of those 1505 Pod Racers. They are very heavy, but they are also the smoothest motor that I have ever felt. And like, they're actually too smooth to the point where I think they're not going to have much power. I bought one to check it out, and then it was so smooth that I said, nah, man, this is like, it feels like the motors from 5 and 6 and 7 years ago that really didn't make any power. Like, there's a middle ground. Like, there's way too notchy, and then there's way too smooth, and they're on the way too smooth side for sure. You want to be somewhere in the middle so that you actually can have some power. Like, the Newbie Drone version 1 smooth motors were a good example of this. They were ultra smooth because of the ring magnet design, but they had shit power, and they just didn't have enough power. So yeah, those Pod Racer motors I'll bet are the same kind of thing. Also, I stay far away from any motors made by TBS. Everybody said, like, I've yet to hear anyone say that they had a great experience with their T-motor produced motor in terms of durability. I don't know what they're doing, but their motors are just super fragile, and that doesn't work for me because I crash. So, Right9 says that's due to the massive air gap on those TBS motors. TBS Ethics flat rats are the same. Yeah, I TBS just kind of across the board, they do not do a good job with motors. It's really a shame, because, yeah, I don't know why it's a shame, but and that is not just me talking, man. What you need to do is you need to find people that aren't riding Steele Davis's nuts, and those are the ones that you want to ask about TBS motors. People that are attached to Steele's nutsack will tell you all day that the Stout motors are the best motors ever. But unfortunately, those are the only people that like those motors. Everybody else is just like, yeah, I stopped running those years ago because they were super fragile, and that continues to be the story. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the new V5s are more durable. But I can't justify spending $28 or $29 on a motor to find out. And to be honest, with the track record that they've got, I'm not into that. Grant R says, have you had a chance to try out the new Meteor 75 Pro frame? Apparently you can fit a 45mm prop. I have not, and I probably won't. The regular 75mm frames make more power than I would ever need. And so, yeah, like, I just don't have a reason to go up to an even bigger propeller or frame. If you've got a 75mm build that you've already tried upping the KV and you're still not getting enough power, then that would be the reason to go up to an even bigger propeller size. But, yeah, that ain't me. The 75mm rigs make more power than I would ever need, as long as you throw KV at them. Like, most of the 75mm bind and fly setups have stupidly low KV motors, like 19,000, 20,000. And yeah, of course that's not going to make any power. But you build a 75 rig with like 25, 26, 27,000 KV motors on a bi-blade, and you're like, holy shit, this thing will go to the moon. We've been just talking for an hour and 50 minutes. What are we supposed to be doing on today's live stream? We talked about the AOS Cine25, great. 2.5-inch prop and motor discussion. We did that. We didn't rip any tiny whoops though, so let's take care of it. Let's first myth bust this whole 31mm versus 35mm prop nonsense. In a similar kind of discussion to that Meteor 75 Pro frame. Yeah, here we go. Here we go, yo. I will say this, those slightly bigger props will give you a little bit more efficiency. So if that's what you're after, if you've got a 75mm rig that's not efficient enough, that would be a definite reason to go to that frame with the bigger prop. Yeah, I don't know why you would need so much efficiency. Just buy more batteries. They're tiny and they're cheap. It's just nice to have extra batteries. I would rather kind of be forced to buy extra batteries than to... because it's just nice to have a lot of batteries than to spend a bunch of money trying to get a little bit more runtime out of... yeah, a setup. Also, like with those Meteor Pro frames, it's really annoying that you have to run a cross style AIO in them. That's a trade-off that I'm not willing to make because those cross style AIOs are kind of junk in my opinion. I have a crossfire module on here. That's not going to do me any good. Let me pop this off so that the buzzing stops. My apologies for that. Yeah, I wish they just did like a regular Meteor 75 frame, like a non-pro that used the regular propellers. That I would be into. But luckily, the Mobula6 V4 frame is amazing. So we don't really need a Meteor 75 frame. I don't think it's really going to get much better than the Mobula6 V4 frame. But I could be wrong. All right, let me cycle the power on this thing. Since it took me so long to do that, I'll bet you it went back into... I bet you it went to Wi-Fi mode. All right, so this is the Chubeeto. It is a Babito frame with a full newbie drone, with like full newbie drone running gear. 0802 27,000 kV motors, BLV4 AIO, and a oh god, it's so creepy to fly this thing inside because it doesn't have any ducts on it. Oh god, easy, don't kill. So there we go. So there's a little power test. This is as good as I can get the tune, and it's not great. You saw a bunch of prop wash on a couple of those. Woo! I'm kind of forgetting that it's a non-ducted rig at the moment. I need to relax a little bit. Yeah, not nearly as challenging as I thought it would be, but still a terrible idea to fly this in the house because it's gonna mark the shit out of your walls and break stuff. And this is really an outdoor build. Oh god! No, 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 no! Easy. Okay, we're good. It's fine. Everything's fine. So yeah, just kind of trying to get a little bit of a feel for this before we switch the propellers over. Ah, I missed it. Uh-oh. See if I can get in here and do anything. Oh, farts. See if I can get in here. There we go. Uh-oh. Ooh! I got a little lucky on that one. Oh, farts. Okay. The one thing I didn't want to do. The one thing was bang it into stuff. So now, A, I have to dig it out, but B, where the hell even is it? It went back here, I thought, didn't it? What the hell? Where is it? Where are you, you little shit? Little tiny quad, where'd you go? Is it not in here? Where did it go? Little guy, where are you? What? What? I was over here when I crashed. Hold on. Hold on, let me turn the little beeper on. It is back there. Why can't I see it? Oh God, it's right there. I was like right on top of it. I got it. There we go. So, yeah, now there's a big scratch going down that wall that I like killed myself to paint all beautifully. So that's why you don't fly these things inside. All right, so I got a good feel for that. Let me, what's this battery at? 3.8? Perfect. Let's swap the propellers over to the 35mm propellers, and we'll see if we can tell a difference. So this is one of my fresh Weebleed FPV batteries that's not been punished into the dirt. I'm going to take another one of my fresh batteries. There we go. So that it's as fair of a comparison as possible. All right, here we go. DNS Jules, if you need a dump from that T-Motor 6 amp, I have that ESC. I have that AIO. I can give you a dump file if you need it. Usually these manufacturers will put the dump files on their website though, so in theory it'll be up on T-Motor's website. So first things first, will these props even clear? And the answer is no. So we will not be checking out whether 35mm props are better because they hit the front standoffs. Well, they hit the TPU on the front standoffs. Technically, I could take a soldering iron and put a dent in this TPU, but I'm not doing that. Sorry. They also come so close to hitting the motor plug that, yeah, it's just they would definitely clear in the back, but I would have to put a significant dent in this front TPU, and I just don't care enough about this little thing. Although I don't know, man, for a little garden ripper, I gotta be honest. Like when I did this build, if you saw that, like I was pretty. I was happier than I thought I was going to be. I thought it was going to be a mess. But, and I mean, you guys just saw me flying around. Like, it's way better than I thought. It's still a terrible idea to fly it inside. Oh, wow, look at that propeller got completely mangled. Yeah, it's still a terrible idea to fly it around inside the house. But for a little rig that you fly in your garden, in tiny little spaces outside, if you're in like a windy place, yeah, it's all right, I guess. I don't know. I would still build the ultimate 65mm TinyWhoop and just deal with the wind. But yeah, I'm here it is. Here it is. This is the most adorable quad ever. And that's worth at least $100. Just having this, and like when somebody comes over, they're like, oh, you're into quads? That's weird. And you could be like, yeah, but look at this. And they'll go, oh, can I touch it? And then you could be like, maybe. That's it. Doesn't have to fly good. It just has to be. Look at it. Come on. Would you just look at it? So yeah. I'm down with this Chubeeto, man. I'm very oh no, it's too heavy. I was gonna say those new Newbie Drone 702 27,000s. But no, this is it's too heavy for those. They will struggle too much. These are the right motors. 802 is I think the right motor for this. It would do better on a higher kV 802, like a 30,000 kV 802. But I don't have any of those that I've switched the plugs over for Newbie Drone, and like I'm just not gonna fly this. I'm just not. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna convert another set of motors over for this. I'm gonna leave this exactly as it is. And when you guys ask me about, you know, this style of rig, I have this, and I can be like, all right, let me fly it, and I'll show you, and I'll talk through it. So yeah, that's why this thing exists. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad Bubby made this. I wish there hadn't been such an incredible hype train around rigs of this size, because I fear that the lack of power and the lack of like a really good use for rigs like this turned a lot of people off to the small size stuff. And like we already have, you know, you talk to like normies about TinyWhoops and they're like, oh yeah, they fly like shit, man, fuck those things. And it's like, well, when's the last time you flew one? 3 years ago? Yeah, things have changed, but it's tough to, you know, it's tough to kind of explain that. Let's fly some proper TinyWhoops around here. What do you say? You filthy animals. Let's put a rig up in the air with crazy motors. Crazy, 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 crazy motors. That's my, that's all I'm going to say. Here we go. This is the round lens Nano 3. I'll give you guys a comparison of the round lens Nano to the current Runcam Nano 3. Stop! Stop beeping. Don't. Thank you. Oh! Come on, really? I just fucking charged you. Let's see if they'll be cool. They won't, but... Here we go! Much better. Oh my god, much better. Oh god! So, here is the LED Weebleed gate, and I have it in demo mode right now. And in demo mode, it cycles through all of the different color combinations and like flashing combinations, and it's really slick. So every time I come towards it, it should have a different little thing so that you can see all the different options in the little mode switch. The only thing that the demo mode doesn't do, it doesn't show you the different speeds. You can slow it down, you can speed it up, but in the demo mode here, it's always in like super fast mode, which is cool. But yeah, that's the other option in terms of this really cool internally LED'd Weebleed gate. And it does separate into 4 individual gates, so you could hang them up individually. You would just have to make some XT30 adapters for each one of them to plug in each individual gate. It's set up so that you wire them all together, and you only have to have one. You only have to have one power source for all 4. Oopsie. Trying to get this ultra low Matty going here. Hold on. Ah! Where am I? What's happening? What's the meaning of this? What? Interesting. It's completely stuck on something. I think it's stuck in maybe the wires or something. Oh, that's weird. The propeller is stuck on one of these little things. That's never happened before. That's wild. Okay. Hey, there's a box here. How the hell did this get here? I think Maggie might have come in when I was in the goggles or something. How's that possible? Here we go! Crazy quad coming at you. Oh, there it is, you sons of bitches! I hope you saw it, because it's not happening again. those really low Matties are just too difficult. Like, they're I would say like 60% luck. Oh, I missed that. Oh, it just clipped me. I could have probably saved that, but if it's not clean, I'm uninterested. That's what she said. Oh, I thought I was trying to throw it up through that high gate and then drop it down. Let's try that again. That's it. That's exactly what I was trying to do. Oh, and then I just plowed into the couch. Oh, boy. That's embarrassing. What the hell's happening here? Can you live? Get in there. Come on with it. Ugh. Oh, God. That was awkward. Come on with it. Come on with it, Powder. Come on with it. Big Powder. Nope. Come on with it, Powder. What's that for? What movie is that from? Powder. The name of the character is Powder. Oh, the mega power loop in your fucking face! Didn't need to disarm there. That was weird. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Bring it home. Ooh, that's the back of my head. Now you guys got to see the back of the haircut. Had to be quick though. All right. Here we go. Let's get it going here. Let's put another one right in. Wah, 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 wah. This is now a slightly beat up battery. Let's see how these... Oh! Balls. Get just... Oh. Don't. Yes. Ah, rejected by the newbie drone gate. Let me out. Let me in. Let me in and let me out. Let's get some newbie drone gate work done. What do you say? Here we go. Oh, I hit the second. I hit the second one. Try it again. And hook it. There it is. God damn it. That's my favorite of the newbie drone gate moves. Let's try the reverse of that. And backwards. Nope. It's so much harder to do it the other way. See? See how much harder it is? God. Let's do more pitch forward action here. Let's try to go through this and then drop down the bottom. That was it. It just doesn't look as impressive. It happens a little bit too quickly when you do it that way. I guess I could slow down the beginning of the move, which is what I was trying to do there. No. One more time. Ah! Slowing down the front of the move, the beginning of the move, rather, doesn't really give me a chance to throw it quite as much, and I'm not getting enough distance. There we go. That was it. That was the one. I don't like that as much, though, as this. This is the hotness. Because you get that last gate, like, comes through at the last second. You're like, oh, shit, where did that come from? Whereas that, like, it kind of all happens at once. You know what I mean? Wow, so much less runtime on these beat-up batteries. Jesus. This battery here has probably had 400 or 500 cycles on it, though. These folded cell batteries hold up really, really well, but, I mean, you know, they are still a small, low MAH battery. CMYK says Powder's the movie. No, it's a, no, that's not it. There's a, it's like a sub-character in the movie. I don't know what it's from. I don't know what it's from. The famous quote though is "Come on with it." Hold on. Come on with it. Powder movie quote. Oh, it's from How High. That's right. It's from How High. Yeah. It's from Powder. It's from Powder changing diaper. How High Pimp Slap. That's it. I can't play this, but here's what I was quoting. Come on with it. Yeah, it's when the pimp comes. Pimp slaps the shit out of him. Yo, go watch that. You'll laugh. Maybe I'm just weird. Here's the 32,000 kV rig, and this is the current generation Runcam Nano 3. So you can see like the colors are kind of more muted. There's almost more detail though because of that. Like the up tilt is drastically different. I'm not throwing this thing back. Jesus, come on now. Big power loop. Oh boy. Yeah, this has a lot less up tilt. This is gonna take me a second to get used to. You can tell because there's a lot more props in view. Still great power though. These are the 0702 32,000 kV motors. Oh, this battery is kind of worked too. Whoa! Oh. No, that didn't fall behind. There it is. Be good. I knocked the GoPro off though. That's funny. Let's do that from in here. Oh, farts. Come on. Let's do that from in here. Ready? Should be like an intro to a Weebleed video. Ready? Oh, I didn't get it quite right. Hold on. Wow, it's interesting. You can really see how far forward the rig gets thrown from pitching forward, firing up the rear motors. Watch this. So I'm gonna it's sitting flat now, right? So I'm gonna hammer it straight up. But then when I pitch forward, the rear motors, the thrust from the rear motors are gonna push this thing forward quite a bit. Ready? Watch this. See that? See where it comes down? So you kind of have to, if you want to do that right, you got to start it, you got to either start it in the back here, or put a little bit of pitch back. I won't do that. I'm going to put it in the middle. Frame up the Weebleed logo real nice. There we go. Nope. There we go. Then I'm going to turn off the OSD. And then I'm going to put a little bit of pitch back on the full throttle blast. Ready? That's how you would do it. But I suck, so I can't do it right. Oh God, why? Oh God, what happened? Ah, it threw a propeller. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it threw a propeller on the left front. Hey, where'd you go, little propeller? Where are you at? Oh no, it didn't. Propeller's still on. Left front motor is in crisis. Let's see what happens. Seems alright. It's spinning fine. Let's arm it. Yeah, no, left front motor's not spinning at all. Is it one of the motor wires? Yep, one of the motor wires popped off. Man, this rig, I mean, it makes sense. Like, I've absolutely annihilated this rig. This is like the main rig that I've flown a ton. But this rig has been breaking like every time I've flown it lately. All right, so yet another repair needed on the ghostly rig. What do we discharge this battery down to? Is it good to be put away? I bet you it is. Let's take a look. 3.7, beautiful. All right, I got, what are these, 5 more batteries left. One of them is a little 270. 2 of them are 270s. So 3 of them are 270s. Let's rip through those real quick. I tore that rig apart. Let's just keep flying different shit. Let's just fly all different rigs tonight. We're gonna go over to the newbie drone BLV4 that I did a little bit of lightning. So like if you buy the BLV4 bind and fly. If you convert it over to BT 2.0 and then put a lighter weight camera and canopy in it, this is the kind of performance that that you can expect. I'm gonna run a good I don't have any super fresh batteries yet, but I'm gonna run a 300 mAh battery on it first, just to kind of show you. I don't know what I'm gonna discharge these 270s on. So yeah, here's the performance you can expect from a slightly lightened up. The hell? I have a gray screen in my goggles. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's this is a Runcam Nano 3 camera. Oh boy, oh easy! It's still heavy. It's still heavy. This is on the Newbie Drone 802 27,000s. Cannot get through this gate. Okay, still can't get through the gate. What is happening here? It's just slowly falling to its demise. This is what, and the OSD Insanity, Newbie Drone is still working on. The OSD that they ship it with doesn't do this. It only starts doing this weird blinking when you change the OSD elements, and like, you know, if you have your personal OSD, this is what'll unfortunately happen with it. Wow, it's really hard to adjust to the weight gain. Well, we're getting there. Here's my big dumb haircut. Ready? Whee! Whee! Hair! Hair! Oh god. Oh, come on. Oh my god, that came so close to my stupid face. Oh god, I didn't make the there we go. I didn't make the top gate, but I made it into the bottom gate. This is the gem fan power loop here. Gem fan power loop! Didn't get it. Didn't throw it up enough. Gem fan power loop! There it was. Almost. Gem fan power loop! Ah! Gem fan power loop! God damn it! This is now the opposite direction with up tilt. This has a ton of up tilt. Look how there's like practically no duct in view. Let me turn down the up tilt a little bit. Oh boy, that went way down. That's a bit too much. Yeah, that's still a little bit too much. Hold on. There we go. That's right. That's the right amount. Just right. This porridge is too hot. My porridge is too cold. My porridge is just right. But there's a wolf attached to it that just killed me. Isn't that how it goes? I pushed it down too far again. There we go. All right. More thrashing. Here we go. You see the difference in how much slower I'm flying now? The speed that you fly at, the speed that you cruise at, is like 1-to-1 related to the to your up tilt. If you want to fly faster, more up tilt. If you want to fly slower, less up tilt. Oh boy, that battery is hurting. So yeah, there you go. This rig's a little heavy. But I flew it for you, so there you go. I'm gonna go back to the Mobula6 with the crazy motors on it. That's my favorite rig to fly at the moment. A bunch of my TinyWhoops are actually pulled apart right now for various random reasons. None of them bad, but I've been moving stuff around, being kind of lazy about putting stuff back together. The one over here just needs it. Well, you know what? Hold on. Let me just bolt this. I can just bolt this camera down to this one, and it'll be Oh, no I can't, because that front, I gotta swap the frame on this one, because the front screw hole got stripped out. That's, never mind. Here's a ultimate freestyle TinyWhoop with crazy motors on the little 270 mAh TinyWhoop batteries. These batteries are super interesting, but as you'll see, they get drained really fast. And now we are back to the OG round lens. Runcam Nano 3, God. That's fun. I've never really, like, hurled it through these gates before like that. That's wild, Jesus. Gem fan power loop. Oh, nope. Chickened out on the bottom there. Didn't chicken out, but when I caught it with that throttle blip, it, stop it. Stop it! Thank you for stopping it. Oh, God, why? Nope. Nope. Come on. Please. Thank you. Stop it. Let me fly. Big adjustment this rig has. I went from like one of the lowest power to weight ratio rigs that I've got to one of the highest. And this is on the lightweight batteries, so this thing feels like it's got a jet booster up its ass. There's the gem fan power loop. Let's try it again. Fuck! No! That was weird. Oh no, let me out, let me out. Oh, please. Please be nice to me. Yes. No! Man flips switches on QX7 for an hour. Oh! That looks so fucking cool when I do it that way. Get you some, motherfuckers! Oh, how many will he do in a row? Oh my God, that's 5! Oh my God! I used to struggle to do these at all. Sometimes I still do. I have to stop because I'm getting bored. Oh, that was fucking great, man. Holy shit. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, man. I'm starting to really like the way that it looks to do that. That's like a little movement, a little camera move that I've been doing for a long time. I gotta be honest, I stole that from Kebab. Just like pitching back. I always kind of liked it because you pitch back, and when you pitch back, like, you either look up at the sky, or in this case at the ceiling, right? And when that happens, you then hammer the shit out of the throttle. And what's cool about that is, like, since you're looking up at the sky, or you're just kind of looking up at the ceiling, you have no reference, really. So, like, the viewer doesn't know that you're full throttle when you're looking straight up like that. And you generate a whole shitload of rearward momentum, and then you just snap forward. And so you go from, like, not being able to see anything to, like, seeing the world in reverse. And if you then pair that up with, like, flying through a gate backwards, it's just a really cool look. I'm gonna do more of that stuff. I used to do it, like, a lot. And I might have kind of played it out for myself. Oh, just touched it. Just gave the hanging gate a little smoocher. Nope, didn't get it high enough. Oh, fuck! It's so cool looking. Because there's almost a second where you're like, oh, is that a mistake? Oh, fuck. Nope. But then you go railing through the gate and you're like, oh, cool. Oh, boy. It should be easier than regular power loops because it's less blind. But it's not. It might not be. Ooh. Easy. Stop it! It should be easier than power loops, but it's not, and that might just be because I don't do it as often. Ah! Stop. No, 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 no. Ah, I tried to get really, really handsy with that one. Oh, fart. Hansi. Any Stern fans remember Hansi? Oh, boy. Oh, shit. We got out. Oh, that's a new one. I like it. I like it a lot. I wonder. Oh, can I do the mega power loop in reverse? Oh, I was trying this the other day. That's right. This is not a new trick. But doing it cube to cube is new. I've never done this, and that's a lot more realistic. Doing it through both gem fans is like, oh, it's too big. It's too much of a space. That's what she said. Oh, man, it's fun though. Come on. No. Yes. Oh God! Right away. Oh! What? Because I hit the top of the cube. Oh, that is hard to pull out. I need to get That's What She Said on a soundboard. I need to get my favorite That's What She Said from The Office is when Jan's in the office and she has a little talk with Michael and says like you can't be doing that, you can't be saying that stuff, you can't be so sexist or whatever. And then Jan says like a half a dozen things in a row that are That's What She Said worthy, and they pan over to Michael and he's just bursting. He's just like, and then he can't take it anymore. And he goes, "That's what she said." And he like rushes it out, and it's just really, and then he laughs. It's just terrific. One of the best shows ever. All right, one more little 270 battery, and then we'll finish up with a regular old 300 mAh. Oh, Jesus. Ah! That one got me right in the gooch. Oh, come on. Come on, stop gooching me, yo. No! I'm getting gooched left and right now. What the hell's going on? Oh my God, I got gooched again! Will the gooching never end? Alright. We're good now. Oh! This is a gooch-filled battery. Oh my God, I can't even just fly through gates normally. Here we go. Goocherific. Oh, we can do the mega tricks, but it's the simple stuff that's getting Gucci. Although now I appear to have recovered from the mass Guccining. Try to do the hard one. Oh no, Gooched again. So the Gooch. I'm using it in a very different way, but I'm using it in a way that makes no sense. The Gooch is a joke from Mighty Car Mods. They had a turbo exhaust man. Oh man, I'm gonna fucking bore anybody that's not super into cars right now. They had an exhaust. Whoa! They had an exhaust manifold that was very cracked at the merge between the pipes, and they called that little merge area the gooch, and they kept saying through the episode, like, we're gonna weld up our gooch now. And it's, you know, I'm 8, so I found it to be absolutely hysterical. Gooch is another word for the ABC, the old ass ball connector. And so yeah, the merge of all these pipes is like the merge of your balls and butthole, and you know, that whole conversation. That whole conversation as if it's just like a normal thing. Nani FPV says, I love the mirror build. Super Gramps was fun too. Do you remember what build that was on, Nani? The Gooch extravaganza? My guess would be it was from the Lancer build. But I could be wrong. If you're not following Mighty Car Mods on YouTube, what the hell are you doing with your life? You want to watch good YouTube content, don't you? I mean, if you're not into cars, I guess you might not love it, but... Oh! I bailed on it because I didn't think it was going to fall in there. But it did. Man, I got it twice. Oh, I got it stuck in the strappies again. Balls. I watched it get stuck in the straps that time. It wasn't even stuck in the straps. It was just like perfectly wedged right there. That's crazy. Man, I've gotten it stuck in some like really impossible scenarios so far tonight. I'll be damned. All right, let's fly the rest of this battery, and then I got a surprise for you. Oh! Wow. Okay, I'll take it. Oh, the quick one. The high elevation quick power loop. Oh, it still went through. Holy crap. Get out of here. Oh, shit. I like turned sideways and I was just kind of like, well, let's see where this goes. It went into the dirt. Trying to get that mega power loop. One more time. One more time. Mega power loop. Come on. Oh, God. I love it. Ah. It's just like the end of that move is just like panic throttle. Like, don't hit the ground. Ah! I hit something. I hit something hard. I don't know what it was. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I feel like I'm right side up now. Where the hell am I? Uh-oh. I'm in the crack. I'm in the crack, fellas. Help me get out of the crack. Once it's in the crack, there's no coming out. As we all know. Don't do crack. Crack kills. Oh, fuck. Just wanted to push those motors around all silly like. Act like a cat. Here's my cat impression. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Hold on. Here's my cat impression. There you go. Life as a cat. Here, hold on. Wait. There's still some left. Hold on. Here. Kitty cat impersonation. Oh, I ran out of battery. I'll take a nap for 18 hours and then beg for food. Cry and be bad. Stop it! Leave me alone! Oh! There you go. Perennium, in fact, that tain't a lie. See what my case says. Alright, so we burned all those batteries down. That's good. Here's your surprise. That's right, damn it. It's time to check out my mail bag. This is a box from the one and only Joshua Bardwell. We're going to shut it down after this. We've already been 2.5 hours. Gotta go get some food. Getting hungry. I think I know what this is. I think I know. This is going to be in an upcoming giveaway. This is a Runcam split with the single 20x20 board. Thank you, Joshua, for that. He said, I have a Runcam split. You have any use for it? I said, I don't have a use for it, but I'll totally throw it in a giveaway. He's like, cool. This is a set of, just three propellers. These are the HQ 3.5-inch props. And then there's a box. Let's see what's in the box. Somebody should use that as in a movie. It says Vansom. It's from Dare V. It says Express LRS EP2 flash with your bind phrase, put your rates in EMU and send it. XOXO from Dare V. He's a he hangs out here every so often. There's another little bag of propellers. These are the Emax Scimitar 3.5 by 2.8s. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. You guys have probably seen this on Joshua Bardwell's channel. This is that crazy tubular framed 3.5-inch build on these absolutely gigantic Mamba Toka 1408s, 4100s. Good Lord. So yeah, Joshua said it had tons of power and it was crazy. His only complaint was there's no the motors are not and the problem with tubular arm frames is that it's really difficult to positively locate the motors, so you end up with motors that can kind of rotate, and I mean, like, you're fine until you crash it, although the other thing is, like, what these really need to be level, and it's like, well, what's level? Dare V did message me and say that he's figuring out how to key. That's basically what needs to be done. Is you need to figure out how to key the round tubes, and yeah, that would fix that problem. Very cool little design. The Vista is standing up in the back. See it? The Vista is like sideways like this. There, it's you can't really see, but yeah, the Vista is standing up in the back. That's super interesting. And it's set up for toilet tank battery mount, which admittedly I don't like, but it has its benefits. It looks like it's got a naked GoPro holder, which is kind of cool. It's just on a single mounting point, so you can change the up tilt. Good Lord, Joshua has this thing with like 8,000 degrees of up tilt. I'm guessing it's got so much motor that made sense to do that. When he was flying around, it was just going a million miles an hour, and so like I immediately knew that it had like 1507s or 1408s on it. Not surprised at all that it's got 1408s. Wild. Center section of the frame is a little bit bendy. That might just be some of these screws backing out a little bit, though. Very cool. I don't know when I'm going to fly this. Definitely not before this weekend. Hopefully next week I can get out to a big-ass spot to give this some room to stretch its little round carbon fiber tubed legs. Very cool. Joshua crashed it pretty good, and it seemed... Ooh, wow. Okay, so there's a lot of play when you bend it motor to motor. I'm assuming that's because the tubes are rooted in, I think, TPU. Nah, it's not TPU, but it's still they're not, solidly like. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder what a black box log would look like from this. Brandon's Baked Beans, are you in here? Do you have any interest in me getting a log from this? Assuming that it's got a flight controller that has a black box storage chip on it. Be super interested to see what if there's anything like if it's heavy on like low frequency vibrations from the arms being kind of woobly. Very cool design though. Very, very cool design. Yeah. Neat stuff, man. Thanks, Dare V. I can't wait to go 7,000 miles. I'm where are the... Oh, man, that's slick. He's got the motor wires running through the tubes. That's very cool. I was going to say, I'm tempted to swap the motors, but not with them going through the tubes like that. I'm not digging that deep. That is cool though, man. Shit, the motor wires going through the tubes. That's legit. That's very, very, very legit. Good stuff, man. Here's what the tubes look like. A little straw. Let me put it in my mouth and suck on it. Get all kinds of carbon fiber splinters. Yeah, carbon fiber tubes are unbelievably strong, like absurdly strong. It's just hard. It's just hard to like to key them. Yeah, like that's the difficulty. Getting them to getting them in a way that they're going to not come out and not rotate is really rough. But if somebody can make it work, they'll perform better than laid up carbon, I assume. It's kind of wild that nobody's gotten it to work super well yet, right? If they had, we would see it in like production frames. Thank you, Joshua. Very cool of you. Denny Flatland BMX says put a slit inside. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. The problem's going to be what's that going to do to the strength, right? That you're going to have to like put as short of a slit as possible, and then the slit doesn't prevent it from being pulled out. So yeah, and then the slit is going to kill the durability of the carbon around that. So you got to do a tiny little slit, and then you got to have a bunch of carbon that's not slit for strength around whatever's holding it. So yeah, I think we're good to go. CMYK says, do you add any restraint to your battery leads on the whoops? I do not. I just unplug the batteries as carefully as I can. Christopher Taylor misspelled my name, so it didn't turn orange, but I still happen to see it. Says, if a man was going to build Ultimate 75, what would you recommend? Just buy a Mobula 7 V4. Yep. My Ultimate 75mm rig is Mobula 7 1S ELRS with iGao 802 27,000 kV motors, Gemfan biblades, BT 2.0, done. CMYK also says, adjust the throttle point for sure. I ended up adjusting my midpoint based on CiottiFPV's advice. Works like a charm once I have my rate dialed in. Yep. Mixed Messenger says, you missed my super chat, homie. I have not seen any super chats. What's going on, YouTube? How you gonna do Mixed Messenger like that? Wow, how the hell did I miss that? He says M5 or T-mount for new T-Motor 1804 2400s 3-inch fat 6S build. M5 for sure. Sorry I missed that, dude. I don't know how the hell that happened. Did I have the goggles on or something? I must have had the goggles on. Yeah, I did, because I remember reading Veritas Weasel's comment, please don't fly that thing in the house anymore. You might lose a leg or an arm or something. And then I remember I put on the goggles. Sorry, brother. Thanks for the $2. And yeah, M5 for sure. M5 for anything bigger than 1404. Anything heavier than 250. CMYK says, we got that. Yeah, it's chat scrolled me. I was caught up on chat, so it was auto scrolling, and I put the goggles on, and it must have auto scrolled right past your super chat. Sorry, brother. Thanks for reminding me though. And cool. I think we're all caught up. Thanks for hanging, friends. I'll be back on Friday at 7. And then I have a gig Saturday, which is awesome. I might actually have a gig Sunday night as well. Music video downtown. Could be fun. And then Sunday stream should be good to go. I'll be very tired, but Sunday stream should be good to go. And then, yeah, Monday night as well. Thanks for hanging. CiottiFPV.com if you like these live streams and want to see them continue. I'm completely crowdfunded. So, yeah, click the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that good things. Do all those good things, rather. Veritas Wizzle with a $19.99 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. He says, just for being you. Thank you, dude. CiottiFPV.com, though, has the ways that you can support me the most. And in ways that, like, actually get me the... best way you can support me is by going over to CiottiFPV.com and checking all the things out. There's a ton of affiliate links. There's my Patreon, which is the best way that you can help a brother out. There's a link to my Etsy store. You can work one-on-one with me on Fiverr. Take advantage of the almost 7 years of experience that I have in this hobby and let me take you from like 6 months of knowledge to a year's worth of knowledge like that. Or Teespring. There's also some t-shirts and other stuff you can show your love. Thanks, friends. If you have shit with my logo on it, take pictures of it and put them on Instagram. I will repost them, and then people will be like, look at this cool guy that bought CiottiFPV stuff. I'm going to subscribe to him. And then you'll feel like a winner, because god damn it, if more subscribers doesn't make you feel like a winner, I don't know what does. It's a terrible trap. A terrible, terrible, terrible trap. But be honest, that shit feels good. Love you guys. Here comes some... I feel like I've played an awful lot of RC drift chasing. Let's do something else. Duluth Church? What the hell is that? The hard drive was not spun up. Let's give it a second here. While it's waiting, I'll pick a song out from Epidemic Sound. If you need royalty-free music, I've got an Epidemic Sound code for you. Ooh! 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 Oh, this is some jungle gym bashing 75mm TinyWhoop madness. Perfect. I'll see you guys Friday. This ain't bad. I'm alright with this. I'm such a fan of bluesy shit. Here we go. Be good, friends. See you Friday. What's the button? There it is.